Welcome back to Spider-Man Homecoming, the Spoilercast. Josiah, Jimbo, and Seth here from the Geekiverse.com. So we want to talk about something with Michael Keaton's character, Vulture's decisions. On numerous occasions makes kind of life-altering, possibly decisions. First off, in the car with Peter, decides not to kill him. He has the gun, and he says, kind of, you saved her life, my daughter's life, meaning, I'm going to spare yours this one time.
Yeah. I got to say, he kind of couldn't kill him in the car. I mean...
He could have driven off with him.
Yeah, he could have done something. Like, he was at his mercy. And he also had him, like, scared. He was, he had him kind of in that moment where he was kind of thinking, where he was kind of, he was paralyzed with fear. He was, he was in control of that situation.
I think so. Yeah, something could have happened there for sure.
Yeah.
The next one, choice number 2, that was kind of prevalent in my mind was that he doesn't kill Peter, and this one didn't really make sense to me.
I don't like this one.
I
pointed
think this was
out.
super weak. Jimbo pointed it out that during their battle, he doesn't kill him. He drops him when he sees the shipment drop.
He totally has like the upper hand here. He has Peter in his hand, ready to kill him.
Nobody's around. He's not his. He's his alias right now. He
no
can kill him, no problem.
Yeah, no one's going to know if he does this.
I thought that was a weak
And he just drops him when he sees the box of cargo. He's like, oh, I'm going to take that loot and leave. Like,
and we know he's not a weak character who would be like, oh my gosh, there's loot over there.
Yeah, no. Like, he knows Spider-Man's going to come back to haunt him, as he has plenty of times already in the short time they've known each other. So I just think that was a weird decision.
What was really what was the incentive not to? And maybe
he just wanted to get away, and like he felt like if he kept on trying to tangle with Peter, was just going to go on. He just wanted to get it and leave, or maybe he still kind of wanted. He isn't.
Maybe there's a conscience there.
We know
maybe
that he's not all bad, and he does have a
conscience,
which we saw in the mid-credit scene. So maybe it was just kind of he still had some mercy there for him. Yeah, good point though.
So. Yeah, that may connect very well to decision number 3, which is during the credits, and he doesn't reveal
to Matt Gargan
the
Scorpion.
Identity. And I really like that.
I think he may want to keep it to himself for now to see what kind of incentive he has, because if he just tells them, they might just kill him. But he might be able to use it later on.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Bargaining chip kind of thing.
Perhaps. I don't know. I thought it was interesting how they kind of displayed that morality line of thinking, like going back and forth, whether it was selfish or whether he was really trying to be, a good guy, if you will. But I don't know. I thought that character was deep, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I know in the theater, Lauren and Jamie jumped when his wife walked into the room.
Okay, set up the scene.
So we're in the
Peter's in the house.
He's just met Vulture. Face to face.
Peter knows who he is, but Vulture does not know who Peter is. He walks in. The music is scary. It's quiet. No one else is in sight. Where is Liz? Is he alone in the house with this scary man who may or may not know who he is and or kill him? And then something disturbs the quiet. And so
I loved it.
Lauren and I jumped a mile.
I thought that was so unwarranted.
Listen, I'm known for jumping at movies, and that was the one and only time I did in this entire 2-hour, 15-minute movie. So I'm a little proud of myself for that.
There were some other good jump. I felt like a good potential jump moment was when Peter was chasing after the weapons van through the neighborhood, and then just as he's about to jump after, then Vulture screeches out of the sky, and then gets Peter and just flies him up into the air and drops him.
That would have been the most jumpy for me. But
yeah, that was a good jumpy moment, I think. Nothing
else was close to me. Most movies these days I feel a little bit on edge at some point, and I never felt that way in this movie. Even when he met face to face in the house with Michael Keaton, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like, it wasn't really a twist, because think about it, like a lot of times in Spider-Man lore, in some way, shape, or form, the villain is the girlfriend's dad. Like,
it's or the best friend.
It's a trope, sure.
If you think about that, it totally makes sense, but it just did not connect in my mind.
They threw you off the trail.
Yeah, they definitely did, and then it was a bit of a twist, and so I was like, what? They don't even have, do they have the same last name?
Well, Liz Allen is her name.
Yeah, and
his name is Adrian Toombs.
Right, so that even throws you off further.
Yeah, they did a lot to definitely throw you off the scent, I guess.
Yeah.
Moving on here with the John Hughes themes. I know Seth is about to write an article on just kind of some of the themes and comparisons here.
Yeah.
But why don't you start that conversation? What did that look like to you?
Yeah. So, that was something that early on Kevin Feige and director John Watts had noted would be an inspiration, much like how Captain America Winter Soldier took inspiration from political thrillers and Ant-Man took inspiration from heist movies. This would take inspiration from John Hughes teen drama, comedy, romance movies from the 1980s that were such an amazing cultural touchstone for a generation of people. And I was really, I'm a huge fan of those movies. I believe Jamie is as well. Mm-hmm. And I was so glad to see that come through because I feel like there are a number of scenes and characters that kind of directly parallel things from John Hughes movies. Obviously, there was like a Ferris Bueller chase sequence that happened.
That was so funny.
Where they actually show a clip of Ferris Bueller and everything. I think Michelle, MJ, parallels a couple characters from John Hughes movies. There's Allison, Ali Sheedy's character from Breakfast Club.
Oh, yes.
But also Watts,
Bit of a loner.
Mary Stuart Masterson's character from Some Kind of Wonderful is kind of this... a not very feminine, kind of a tomboyish kind of a girl who's like a friend to Eric Stoltz's character, Keith, who, while he likes this other girl, she's kind of in the background. It's that kind of it's like Pretty in Pink. She's like a female Ducky kind of.
Yes.
I'm hoping that they're building up that kind of a dynamic where she and Peter will kind of eventually have this growing bond between them, this blossoming romance. So that'd be very good to see. And just... let me see. Having like the homecoming dance at the end is a little bit like the end of Pretty in Pink, but with an ending that's more reminiscent of Some Kind of Wonderful, where Peter turns away from the popular girl that he's been crushing on, much like Keith did with Leah Thompson's character. Some Kind of Wonderful. But overall, there's just kind of these general. Tropes of putting a lot of weight on what's going on with teenagers and their struggles and having just these things may not be world changing, but they feel that way when you're a teenager. And there aren't a lot of movies that really did that for that generation before John Hughes did. And that was something that translated into this movie, not only giving the teenagers' struggles a lot of weight, but also placing less weight and more humor on the adults and having them be characters you kind of don't take as seriously, which was another kind of a newer thing that John Hughes did in the 80s. There was like a lot of there was like some montages and things like that. There was the Blitzkrieg Bop montage. There was the getting ready for the homecoming dance montage, and also when he was like sitting in class. Sometimes there was like these really specific things they did, like the way that we used in sitting in class, and like the colors would be really pale and washed out, and it looked very much like classroom scenes from Ferris Bueller. Like that, when all the students are just kind of bored and sitting there, and a lot of things like that. But overall, besides just those little, kind of not gimmicky, but those smaller references, there was just kind of a mood and attitude that was attributed to the characters that really rang true. And I saw John Hughes' influence shine through the movie, and I'm very glad for that.
I'm a huge fan as well, actually, and I love that. And you're right with kind of the high school theme, or maybe what a youthful character is going through. It humanizes the characters, and I think that's exactly what Spider-Man needed, especially in this kind of reboot again for this time with the MCU. But with John Hughes, there's those maybe like almost. If you look at the movie posters, which we're looking at here, whether it's Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, Home Alone, Pretty in Pink, they've got this color scheme that's kind of dull and there maybe would be a color or two that sticks out most prominently. And I think they did that very well with some of the marketing material for Homecoming. And I think they've even adopted some of those color palettes for other movies, whether it's Thor Ragnarok that's coming up. That's very bright and almost looks like an 80s movie in terms of how they promote the logo. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was the same way, even though Guardians always kind of was that. So I like how they do that. And then with John Hughes, one of my favorite movies of all time is Home Alone. Home Alone 2, actually. So gotta love those. Breakfast Club, like you mentioned. Seth,
all the John Candy movies.
All the John Candy movies. You said Some Kind of Wonderful, I think was your favorite.
That's my favorite, personally.
16 Candles, obviously. One of the most underrated movies that I love is Uncle Buck.
I love that movie.
Most people are like, really? And I love that movie. It's just so... you gotta love John Candy. I love his character in that movie. It's so much fun. Also, you may not recall, but the Vacation movies, the National Lampoon.
At least the first one. I'm not sure about the sequels.
He did Christmas Vacation as well.
Okay.
Which is right there.
My favorite Christmas movie of all time, Christmas Vacation.
I would say top 3 for me: Christmas Vacation, Home Alone for Christmas movies, and Jim Carrey's The Grinch. Believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I didn't realize that he worked on Mr. Mom. That's Michael Keaton.
That's
hilarious.
Okay, that's right. Good call.
Wow.
That's in the Beethoven movies, which were kind of whatever.
He wrote some. Yeah, he has a bit of a mixed. He wrote so many iconic movies, but then he also wrote like Home Alone 3 was another movie that he wrote, isn't it? Which was not very good.
4.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so
after 2, they just
I can't
just
believe 3
fall off.
happened. I really can't believe 4 happened.
maybe he was just phoning in later years, but he had an indelible impact that is felt in 2017 in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta love it. And pen drop right
wow.
there. Yep, that is it. Oh, the
Table
incredible
flip.
Seth.
You won't like him when he's angry.
You won't like him when he's moderately a little bit angry.
Just a bit passionate about something.
Just a bit. I think that's kind of everything actually we wanted to talk about here. It was an extensive spoiler cast. I really like where we went with the direction on this one, and I feel like we got our full spoiler cast, on the table. We got everything out.
We did it.
We did it, folks. We did it.
Before we got on the table, and then I
flipped it, and we picked it up, and we did it again. So that was it. So that's about it.
All that happened.
All that happened.
Yep.
Yeah, the YouTube people will know that is a lie.
Well, now the audio people will know too.
I can just cut it. It's okay.
Okay.
We'll wrap things up here. What did you think of Spider-Man: Homecoming? How does it compare and contrast to the other Spider-Man films, the other MCU films? What did you think of Tom Holland in the title role in comparison to Garfield and Maguire? We want to know your comments.
Nicholas Hammond from the 70s.
The much forgotten Nicholas Hammond. So definitely visit us on social media. Leave your comments there. We'd love to talk to you, whether that's our Geekiverse social media or our personal ones. But where can we find everybody on the social medias, most notably Twitter? And what do you got to promote for the Geekiverse? We'll go to Seth first.
You can find me on Twitter at CapAmerikanski. And as Joe said, I'm writing up an article just elaborating on a lot of these parallels between Spider-Man: Homecoming and the John Hughes movies of the 80s. And other than that, we have some gestating editing projects, much like in the tradition of last year, the Midwest Gaming Classic that the trip me and Nate Lockhart took is taking its time being edited. So look forward to that, and there's some fun new ideas we have coming up.
Podcasts are rolling. I'm excited to see you. We're kind of churning out some new video content here over the course of the summer, so we'll have some more giveaways to announce shortly too. Just had a Loot Crate giveaway, so thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Jimbo, what do you got going on right now?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Jamie Lynn Leroy. Also, I've got a video series you can find on thegeekiverse.com. It's called Jamie's Got Mail, edited and filmed by these lovely men over here. Oh, gosh. Lovely men.
So nice.
Where we
men in tights.
Enough. No.
I look under the table, Seth has tights on.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Jamie's Got Mail is the unboxing of the Phantom of the Month Club box. It is geek-themed jewelry, and
we have a 4-part mini-series on that.
Yes, Geeks on the Beach edition. Yes. Also, I am covering any news, staying up with what's happening with the Psych movie. It's called Psych the Movie, a Christmas special coming out in December following the 8-season series of Psych.
Very cool.
Yeah.
On Twitter, I am at Josiah D. Leroy. You can find me there. Either talking about hockey stuff or geeky stuff. Rinse and repeat, as I told a colleague today. So there's that. For the Geekiverse, I'm doing a lot of video editing, a lot of our podcast producing as well. So you can find me all over those as far as our written content on thegeekiverse.com. Very shortly, I will have a Crash Bandicoot review up for the Insane Trilogy. I am loving that right now. If you're a video game fan, Seth is loving it as well.
Absolutely.
Check out our podcast. We did a history of Crash Bandicoot as well as a complimentary video, youtube.com/thegeekiverse, which shows the Crash Bandicoot commercials through time.
Our live commentary and reactions through All of the
Yes.
Crash Bandicoot commercials we could find are the PlayStation 1 era, American, Japanese. We cover a lot.
One of my
Check it
favorite
out.
videos we've ever done.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch, if for nothing else, just the commercials there. So
Yes.
you'd be surprised if you're a Crash Bandicoot fan to see what you probably missed, particularly the Japanese versions for some of them.
Yes.
But those are always good. So stay tuned to that. I am going to write a complimentary Spider-Man piece as well on 5 things why Homecoming was amazing. No pun intended. And you can catch us doing that shortly.
I got to update my ranking article as well. My ranking of the
Yes.
I've been really wrestling with it. This versus Spider-Man 2. I think this might end up being second place behind Spider-Man 2, but that's a tough call.
We'll have to let it settle in a little bit more, I
Yeah.
guess.
Guess we'll have to see.
Go to thegeekiverse.com. Seth will have his Spider-Man rankings up shortly, his re-rankings.
Yes, the update.
Lou Matuzzo, the sweet one, we call him at the Geekiverse. Myself and Lou, we have ranked every MCU film. We're going to update that this week and give you our Guardians and Spider-Man re-rankings. So stay tuned for that. Lots going on here in the summer of geek, as I call it. I just made that up on the spot. I don't really call it that, but it's a good marketing idea.
Summer of George, right?
Summer of George!
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking a lot about Seinfeld and Frasier in the coming weeks, hopefully.
Oh, are we now?
Or are we now? We'll see. Seth and I have a debate,
Battle
ongoing
of the
argument,
ages.
that Frasier is a better show than Seinfeld.
That's my argument. Yeah.
I disagree, but both quality shows, that's for sure. Visit us on social media. We're Facebook.com/TheGeekiverse, Instagram @TheGeekiverse, and for Twitter, we are @_Geekiverse. Can't get rid of that underscore. Someone has the Geekiverse.
Working
Give
on
it
it.
up, folks. Once we get rid of that, we're done with our underscores, except for Trevor, because he's so fat.
Oh.
He needs
He
so
needs
many
all those.
underscores.
He needs the
extra.
underscores. They're platforms to support his weight. He needs
They
the
are.
underscores. Yes.
He is Porkins if I ever saw him. So there's that. You're listening to this either on SoundCloud or iTunes. Thank you very much for supporting. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube. We are youtube.com/TheGeekiverse. Be sure to like and subscribe. Give us some comments on there. Every little bit goes far for us. You can go also to thegeekiverse.storeenvy.com. Pick up one of our shirts there. We've got some geeky themed t-shirts. That also goes a long way for us, but we love interacting with you, the fans, as well. So, Lindy Ruffo, I hope that was on there.
Okay.
I think I covered everything. I don't know if I'm missing anything.
I think Lindy tied it up well.
I think so, too. You can listen to our other podcasts on our channel. We have a Walking Carpet, which is Star Wars themed, Geeks Got Game, which is our video game themed, and then we've also... Oh, Lindy.
Yeah, Lindy.
We have our new show, Geek of Thrones, which is... No, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. You have to figure it
You'll
out.
never guess it by the title.
It's The Walking Dead. So,
Oh,
for
Twist.
Jimbo, for Seth, for Lindy, I am Josiah Leroy. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Signing off. We'll see you soon.